Okay, this is Michael Nunn, AS Preliminary Print Evaluation.
Question 1. In which ways does your media product use, develop or challenge forms and conventions? I began a preliminary project by deconstructing college magazine covers from Mansfield, Wartburg and Lewisham colleges. From these deconstructions I found that most of the covers had mastheads running along the top of the cover. However, Mansfield College put their masthead in a round in the top left corner of the cover. I liked the modern minimalist look of the design, so I chose to include a similar masthead in my own magazine. I also added a title along the bottom of the cover saying Chichester, after a deconstruction of my magazine cover from Wartburg College in America. I chose to add this to my own cover because of the Chichester green of the text and block at the bottom resembled grass and playing field, a common feature of colleges and Chichester Sixth Form College more specifically. I used a mid-shot for the cover, as many college magazines do, to focus on one specific person, perhaps alumni of the college or present students who have produced notable creative works. In this case, I have chosen my model because he is a thriving drama student, excelling in all areas of acting and sixth form. To honour this, the magazine have chosen to interview him and write the lead article in the magazine on him. The idea of an interview as a lead article and cover photo is a convention frequently used by magazines of all type, and college magazines specifically. Question 2. How does your media product represent particular social groups? My media product displays a photograph of a white male, most probably in the 16 to 18 age group. The reasons behind this decision would be that the sixth form is based in a middle-class area of southern England. White males are the typical students of the school, as opposed to certain areas of Greater London or areas of larger cities, such as Birmingham or Manchester, that may have more students from backgrounds of ethnic minorities. My model is shown to be wearing a blue vintage logo sweatshirt, as well as an ear piercing. The model is wearing clothes that would be typically worn by young white males of this era. Although the model is against a brick wall, he is not represented as being particularly thuggish or rebellious. He is seen to be smiling and sporting a clean-cut image, according to the cover line above his head. He is a drama student. Therefore, his confidence and style would be important to upholding a strong acting performance, linking to the lead article about Liam's ties to the drama and music department at Chichester Sixth Form. He is not using direct audience address. Instead, he is looking into the distance. This could be to add a sense of mystery around the character, enticing the audience to read the magazine. The shadowing and shading in his face reinforce this idea. Question 3. What kind of media institution might distribute your media product and why? I've researched 3 main media distribution groups: EMAP, IPC and Bauer Media Distribution Groups. EMAP are a company specialising in business-to-business publications. This means the magazines most likely to be published by the company are intended to be sent to other companies for the purpose of information and advertising, rather than to entertain. Because the magazines in EMAP's catalogue are read in a productive environment, this may be a positive feature of EMAP as a distributor. However, no school or college magazines feature in EMAP's list of publications. IPC are the UK's largest and most profitable media distribution company, publishing and selling over 350 million copies each year. Their portfolio has a large range from Country Life magazine to a range of sporting and fishing magazines to Nuts and NME magazine. This company does not have any university, college or school magazines in its portfolio. However, with such a large and varied catalogue of magazines, this company may well be willing to try a different genre of magazine, especially one that would cost relatively little to produce, market and sell. Bauer, comparatively, have a much smaller portfolio of magazines. Some of Bauer media publications include Bella, a women's lifestyle magazine, as well as Q magazine and Kerrang. This media distribution company would probably be the least likely to publish my school magazine because it has a small, although varied selection of titles. This institution publishes a selection of glossy magazines with high production values, a feature not present with my own media product. Neither IPC nor EMAP would choose to publish my magazine either, because of its relatively low production values and localised target market. The countrywide and in some cases worldwide media distribution companies would not be interested in investing time and money into such a small specific target market when they can invest in more countrywide popular magazines. Therefore, my magazine would be self-published in-house. Question 4. Who would be the target audience for your media product? My magazine is designed for students in Chichester High School Sixth Form, typically ranging from 16 to 18 years old, male and female. However, the magazine may appeal to younger teachers or staff in the schools with an interest in music and modern media involving the school. Here you can see some examples of my target audience. Question 5. How did you attract, address your audience? Firstly, I wanted the theme of the magazine to include music and drama, as these are subjects increasingly popular with the students of the 16 to 18 age group. I also knew about what's current in terms of the arts in school and in the country amongst young people today, and I knew I could apply the knowledge to the design of the magazine. I included an article for new album reviews on the cover of the magazine, as I know that music and new music is always a subject of interest for young people, and especially if the music is judged or rated by the audience's peers. I kept the cover relatively simple, only having 2 cover lines advertising articles for album reviews and an interview about music and drama at the school, in order to keep the audience's attention when looking at the cover, deciding whether or not to pick up and read the magazine. I also used a model that would look like they would be a typical student at the school, appealing to the fact that the audience would be more interested in opinions closer to their own. I used a model of similar age and ethnicity to the students at Chichester High School to make the magazine and its articles more relatable to the audience. Question 6. What have you learnt about new technologies from the process of constructing this product? The most important skill I've taken away from this exercise is how to use Photoshop to produce a professional-looking magazine cover. I can then take the skills learnt on the magazine cover and apply them to other tasks and projects in the future, including photo and image manipulation, publication production, and other image editing uses. Some of the tools I used on Photoshop include using layers on Photoshop to create a professional-looking cover, which I've never had to use before. I've also used websites such as Google and Wikipedia to help my research when I researched the media distribution companies. While I was constructing my final front cover, I used a website called font.com to give me a much more professional looking fonts for the titles of the magazine. As well as this, I've used Prezi for the first time to create a far more interesting looking presentation than the usual PowerPoint presentations. And this is my final product.